Yeah, so hello everyone. We're going to start on the North Wind. You may be familiar with the box art by Ruben Martinez from Big Sean. It's one of my favorite pieces he's ever painted, to be honest. It has a very like warm pinkish atmosphere. But I think I'm going to go with like something slightly colder. There was a piece of art by, I don't know if I have it up here. There's a piece of art by Kingdom Death recently that I really liked, where it's like more blue and white, and like dark leathers. So I think I might play around with some idea like that. I also see, like, anytime you see a barbarian lady, I feel like it's always red hair. Like, it's just always red hair, right? So I think I might change to like maybe a blonde or something instead. See how that goes. Yeah, I feel like the red-headed barbarian girl is like such a common trope. Do not think you worked hard. I think you were rapping around and doing quick jobs by your standards anyways. I'm talking about the folks who think if they spend maybe 4 months painting 30 minis to a decent standard, they can enter a category. Painters such as yourself wouldn't bother to enter, and then bam. Well, you know, whatever. Yeah. I would say I worked hard on my army, just not to like a golden demon level. All right. So yeah, we're gonna grab some colors here. I'd like for a slightly more sort of palish feeling. I'm just gonna grab some stuff, I think. What do we got? We're gonna look for some skin tones. We got some kind of cold skin tone here. Or maybe start with just like this, and then we'll add some cooler colors, maybe something like this to her skin. But we're gonna need something dark. I have the base, but I need to actually like extend the base and figure out how I want her to stand on it. So it's not primed or anything yet. I just drilled the holes for the feet, and then at some point I'll put it on a plinth and like build it out. One of the weird things about this figure, like in 75, is like this big, just like chunky gap right here on the edge, and she really stands like this. So there's just this like big hole on the side that's quite bizarre. So I've got to figure that out still. What else do we need? We need some sort of dark color. Something maybe like this, maybe slightly darker. Depends on how pale we want her to be. I don't want her to be super dark skin tones. J Cream, thanks for the prime. Appreciate it. And, oh, there's like ones popping out. Also, Ethan, thank you for the tier 1. Appreciate it. The Adael Ruiz. And J Cream for the follow. Hello. Hi, everyone. The notifications. Okay, so yeah, I don't want it to be like super dark. So we'll probably start somewhere in here and see where we go. So we've got like just a few colors, right? Okay. If we need, we can add some black or something. Hi, Jet. These are very similar tone. I'll probably end up going with this one because it's a little bit more pale feeling. See the value of these two? Hey, let's do this thing. You see the value of those two are about the same. What do I think of, besides the awards, what do I think of this year's MFCA? I was impressed, man. So it's something like, I think it was about half of the entries this year were fantasy and half were historical. So it's really nice to see historical growing at the show, which is very cool. Like to see how far that goes. It would be nice to see it continue to grow and build. Yeah, it was a good year. A good time. Mounds. Hi. Alright, let's take some of this guy. And we'll mix them together. This might be too reddish. We might need some like actual brown here. Just to lower the value a little bit without saturating it too much. Yeah, that's good. So I think something like this is going to work for our shadow of the skin, and then we're going to do quite a pale color for the light. So basically here I'm just going to, like usual, I'm just searching for the black areas. I'm going to start to cover those and sort of paint the Terminator line. You can see I have this bit of a top right light situation here. I think it could be cool for MFCA, which I've actually talked to them. So maybe next year I'll do like a workshop or something in Philadelphia, like before the show. So it'll be like a 2-day workshop that like leads up to the show, you know. So either on like the Thursday, Friday or something like that. I think could be cool. But I think there could be more. I know it's just like a hangout, but there could be like some more activity stuff going on, you know? I don't know. What would you guys like to see? I know some of you attend High Warp Gate. Anything that's like, yeah, I'd love to do X or whatever at the show. Oh, sorry. Do we need to talk about movies? I didn't realize forgot this was a movie podcast. My bad. I watched Thunderbolts. It was good. How's that? All right. So, guys, I'm just trying. Look, you can see, right? I'm just trying to get a solid base coat down. I'm looking for everywhere that's black, okay? That's like the dark skin tone, all right? And you can see just how bright it looks like on this section, okay? So when you do your base coats like this, right? I'm not thinning very much. Just some water in the brush. Just trying to get a nice coverage. Hi, Ginger Beef. Okay, just trying to get a nice coverage everywhere. Hi, Dave. Make sure you get down in there, you know? You don't want to miss areas. Because if you miss areas now, when you start to layer thinner layers on top of it, those missed areas are going to show through. So it's important to get like a solid base coat down. Yeah, the bust is quite popular. I haven't seen a ton of the 75 mil, to be honest. I don't think the 75 millimeter is nearly as popular as the bust version, but I really like the 75 millimeter version of this figure. I think it's super cool. I don't think it's that much newer. I think they came out sort of around the same time. Speaking of conventions, no workshops from you at SMC. No, not this year. I'm not teaching any workshops. I will be a judge at SMC this year. So there's that. So no workshop from me. Okay, so there's kind of the shadows. I mean, there's some more on her face, but like just a rough block of light and shadow here. Probably want to do like a small one across her hair or something. But I'm just trying to get like the sort of general light and shadow shapes blocked in. You can see like most of her shoulder, even though there's some like mid-tone shadows, that there's not really any like hard deep shadows. This is a thing I see a lot of people make the mistake of, is they see like the shape of this arm, and it's even more noticeable on figures of women, is like people will tend to really overdo some of these shadows by like really like defining the like the deltoid muscles and stuff, and they overdo it, and it ends up looking like just way too defined. Like we want a bit more subtlety here, okay? Well, besides winds up looking like not necessarily like a man. It's just like even guys like don't get that shredded that like, you know, there's unnecessary shadows there. The reason you see like bodybuilders and stuff have really strong shadows like that is because they have this like super harsh direct overhead lighting, which is emphasizing those shapes even more, you know? What if they're greased up for Mr. Olympia? That's highlights though. Yeah, those are different, right? So those aren't, it's not the same thing. All right, now we're going to take some of this guy. I think we'll grab and mix these two. Okay, that's a pretty good color tonally. This is going to cool it off some. We're trying to get like a nice light color here for the lights, so something like this. Okay. We might have to go back and add more red. but those reds tend to show up more in the midtones than in the lights. So now I'm trying to hit really where I see like the white primer, right? Or the light gray primer in this case, and I'm going to leave like a little bit of a gap. So I know that's like really the mid-tone area, like anywhere there's not a hard transition, which she's not going to have too many like really sharp transitions. I'm leaving a little bit of the gap. Like I know that ab there is catching a little bit of light, but it's not like the side or like her hip, right? So what, if anything, do you do differently for competition painting? Or you just do your normal thing and enter what you think comes out best? I just do my normal thing and then I enter basically the stuff I've just worked on. I mean, I don't typically enter like my, just goofy gaming figures, but it's just my general work. I don't tend to like pick stuff for competition or anything like that. It's just the things that I've been working on. Like maybe I'll have a special project that's like, it's a one-off piece or something like that, but it's not a I'm not like, oh, this is my normal work and then it's time to enter a competition, so like this gets special treatment or anything. Eric, would love to get you on the podcast sometime if you are game, bud. Send me a message. Send me a private message on like Instagram or something. And we'll see. Hammer Hood. Hello, thanks for following. Right, so you can sort of see that we're just separating it into light and shadow values, right? No, I don't have any. Okay, I don't want this to sound wrong. How do I say this without... Whatever, I'm just going to say it. And if it sounds like a jerk, I'm sorry. So last year at Monte, I entered just all the stuff I'd painted, right? And when you enter your piece, right, your pieces, you enter them in a display, and the judges, they can either pick hi Tyga Tiger VT, hello, welcome in. Yeah, so you enter your pieces, and I think I had like 6 pieces in my fantasy display at Monte, and the judges, they can either pick one, or they can if there's one that they like, they can choose to award that, or like particularly like, they might like them all, but there might be one they particularly like. So they can either choose to do that, or they can award the whole display, right? Froggy PhD, man, back-to-back raids. Hi. Welcome in, raiders. All right, I'll get back to the story in a second. Hi, Tyga. How was your stream? What were you doing? Hi, Froggy. How was your stream? What were you doing? Thanks for rating in, both of you. Welcome in. If it's your first time here, oh, you were playing Space Marine 2 together. If it's your first time here, hello, my name is Eric Swinson. I'm a professional miniature painter from the United States. And I paint all kinds of stuff. Gaming minis, bus, Warhammers, fantasy models, sometimes even some historical-ish stuff. Yeah, I sort of paint whatever is I'm having fun with at the moment. Nothing specific. And this week we are starting on this barbarian lady. So welcome in. I hope you have a good time. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm always happy to answer. But yeah, we're just kind of doing some painting. All right, back to the story, right? So they can either award the original question, right? Do I choose something for a competition piece? Like, do I specifically paint for a competition? No, I just paint what I paint, and if it does well, it does well, right? I just do my work. I really believe that like consistency is important. I believe that like when someone hires you to do work, they are hiring you for you. So I do basically my best. Like, okay, on my own gaming models, like maybe it's not to like my highest possible level, but I just do me. So at Monte, I had like 6 pieces or something in my fantasy display, right? And the one they chose to award was a orc bus by Ivamata. If you are part of Miniature Art Academy, maybe you have seen the video of me painting it. It took me 2 days to paint, right? 2 days. I painted it in 2 days, right? For me, it was not like my most interesting piece or whatever, at least in my opinion. But that's what the judges liked, and okay, right? Like, sure. It wasn't the fanciest thing or whatever, but yeah, I mean, it's just about consistency. The sum of your work is more important than any individual piece, in my opinion. What brand of paints do you like, and do you like to use water or medium to thin your paints mostly? I use mostly Vallejo and Chimera, and yeah, I use water to thin. I don't really use medium to thin my paints. Why would that make me sound like a jerk? Because I won a gold at Monte, like the hardest painting competition, with a figure I painted in 2 days. That's why. When people spend like weeks or whatever on their entries. Do you know why they liked it the best? I think I don't know. It's just the one they preferred, Which is fine. I mean, it was more simple than the others, but I guess it had something to it that stood out to them. Now, I know Andy Wardle actually told me that he preferred my Corpicali Hunter, but the other two judges wanted to pick the Orc, so he kind of just was like, sure, it doesn't matter. We're going to give it a gold anyways. Who really cares? But, yeah. Sometimes you just go along with it because it's like, is it going to change the award that we're giving them? Not really. Then it doesn't really matter that much. At that point, though, that when I judge, like, if like we look at it and just go like, okay, the whole display is like gold quality, we just award the whole display a gold. No reason to pick like any individual figure. That way, like, then you can pick an individual figure if it comes down to like best of show, right? What was that? Captain Koba followed. Hello. I do think a lot of people get caught up in needing to paint something specific for a competition instead of just painting and bringing what they think is the best representation of them as artists. Well, I think there's a difference between like, I am preparing something for World Model Expo, right? But I was going to paint it anyways. I'm just using World Model Expo as a deadline, right? There's literally nothing forcing me to have it done for World Model Expo, but I have to paint it anyways, so I might as well paint it and have something special to bring, I guess. I'm not painting it for the competition. I'm just painting it because I want to paint it. Hey, Jet, have a good night. JPR Fiat, hello, welcome. So, yeah, I mean, like, you can paint stuff for competition, right? Like, you can go, all right, I have a plan. I want to paint this thing. But for me, it's always just been like, yeah, the competition has just acted. I was going to paint the thing anyways, whether there was a competition or not. It's just for me, the contest serves as a deadline, you know? Hola, ¿qué tal? That's interesting stuff. For a dude like me, I kind of need to commit to leveling up or doing my best on a piece and not allowing myself to take shortcuts. Excuses like it's just for gaming. I think there's a big difference here. Like, you can paint something just for gaming. I've painted gaming models where I've done certain aspects of that model where it's like, okay, I want to paint a really good face on this guy, and I'm going to practice painting faces on tiny marines or whatever, where maybe the rest of the model isn't like as executed as to like as high of a standard, right? But Like, you can still practice on certain things without, like, you know, everything becoming like, oh, I've got to make this perfect, right? All right. So you can see now I'm kind of like just blending between these two, trying to introduce these like intermediate tones. Is it? Is it that big of a jump in terms of value? It's going to get bigger, by the way. The skin shadows and I still haven't painted highlights. This is just me like blocking in the lights itself. We've got to go brighter than this. Whoa, we're halfway there. Living on a prayer. You need transitions. Yeah, no. How perfect those transitions need to be is another question, but you need transitions. Do I have a Patreon where I have tutorials and such? No, but the YouTube I have recorded tutorial videos, like more structured tutorial videos for quite a few companies. But I also have my YouTube channel where you can just go watch a bunch of old videos, right? Like, I've recorded tutorials for specific brands and stuff, like Chimera. I've done video tutorial. The one I was just talking about, like the orc, a little while ago. I did a video tutorial for Miniature Art Academy. But I don't, yeah. I should push the Feedback Friday thing more. How so? Like, hey guys, Feedback Friday. Blah, 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 blah. Come join Feedback Friday. Subscribe. Hello. Ah, well, in that case, Doom, you just need to be a Twitch sub, and then you join the Discord, and that gives you access to the Feedback Friday channel. So, and you can use a Prime. Doesn't have to be like a tier 1, it could be a Prime sub. Those long, beautiful. You talking about my beard? I cut like 4 inches off it recently, something like that. It was like down to here. Well, there you go, Doom. Thanks for the Prime. Now you just got to join the Discord and link your Discord to your Twitch account. You'll get access to the channel. How much painting talent did I lose? I don't think so. I think I'm doing all right. So you can see we're going quite pale here, okay? I want the skin to be pretty light. And I think I'm going to go for like a darker leather look. And I'm probably going to try and include some blue somewhere. So like maybe this cloth is going to be blue, or I'll do like some blue tribal kind of marking things. Feedback this Friday? It's this Friday. Actually, there will not be any stream next week or the week after because I will be in Texas. I will be in Texas for like a week and a half. Hi, Nate. Hey, see you there. So I'll be in Texas for a workshop in Austin, but I'll also be at the Warhammer US Open teaching us some classes, which are still available, by the way. You got a sweet jar boy, that's a good jar boy, pot friend. It's a little Alexander. What was the little one's name? Anybody know? Anybody remember from Elden Ring? What was the little jar guy? Hey, cuz. Or whatever he calls you. Richard, thanks for the prime. Appreciate it. What figure is this? This is the Northwind from Big Child. Get it while you can from wherever you can. If you want one, I do not mind if you guys share links in the chat for if you find this figure somewhere. It's Sam Pie. I don't know, man. I'm not gonna comment on that one. I really. We will just have to wait and see what is next for them. Does anyone have an extra Papa Jumbo bust? Like, you just painted one. Anybody got more than Papa Jambos? Huh? You can see here, this is kind of like the aim that I'm going for with the skin, right? I'm just blocking in the shapes, right? So it's like from this side, clearly shadow, right? This side, clearly light. We can line it up, right? Which means that this is probably too dark right here. This is probably also slightly too dark. I want to do a little shadow on her forehead. You guys got any in Papa Jambos? Do I use a rattle can? No, I use airbrush. Rattle can, I get rattle cans, but that's too much. It's too expensive, dude. And it's a waste. It's bad. It's bad for the environment, you guys. Too much aerosol in the environment, or something. I mean, if you, yes, do. If you don't own an airbrush, do use auto body primer. It's cheaper than buying like Games Workshop primer for the same thing. Yeah, you want smooth, sandable auto body primer, not like filler primer. That's different. No, I did it because it's hot. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, kind of getting there. So I need to think about like what other colors I want to use here or where I want to use certain colors. This I want brighter, it's not bright enough. That shape wasn't quite right. So the light we're kind of going for is like this. You can see I'm sort of doing the shadow across the foot here. So this is kind of our aimed lighting. So you can see like just a little bit of the stomach light shows. A little bit here on the foot. This foot's quite a bit in light. And there's like just a touch on her knee, but it's facing so far away from the light that like any light that really would hit there would be like pretty subtle. We could lighten it slightly. All right, we could do like just a touch. Something like that. This is probably off, but okay. So there's sort of like a rough idea of like the lighting situation. Probably put a little more light on her back here. Some of this light maybe wraps around slightly. Something like that. I'm going to put a little shadow here, but that's like such a fine detail. I don't think I really need it right now. I'd probably rather like blend first than paint that back in. Where some of the shadows I want like a little more obvious. Well, congrats on the big, thanks. Appreciate it. It was a good weekend. I think anyone in the Northeast should go to that show, to MFCA. It's a good show. Fun times. It's a relaxing one, you know? It's not like Adepticon or it's not like Adepticon or Nova where I'm like running around nonstop. I mean, I helped judge, but yeah, it's not like crazy. A fantasy painter always wins best of show because they have 3 best of shows. They have they 3 equal best of shows. They do a best of show historical, best of show fantasy, and best of show ordnance. So, brutal burrito. No, I won 1 of the 3. I don't paint tanks, so I'm not winning ordnance. Brutal burrito, thanks for the prime. Oh, and Towley, I missed you, but thanks for following. Anyone know of any shows in the Pacific Northwest? Closest I think of is the Tacoma Open. Kubla Khan? But I don't think that's in California, right? So all right. Gonna take a quick break. I'll be back in a minute and then yeah, continue on this lady. I'm back. Hello. Hi. We're back. How's she doing? Okay. Let's get do I want to get a base coat on some stuff just to get a feeling for color here? Or do I want to just continue with the skin a little bit more? Normally I would recommend, like, at this stage, you should probably get some base coats on things just to get sort of a feeling for the color scheme and stuff. It doesn't make the most interesting videos though, because like it's hard to see sort of the progress. I think it's a little easier to understand when it's a bit more compartmentalized than when it's like kind of all over the place. But I typically do like recommend kind of getting colors down on everything to see sort of your ambience and stuff. So you can see she's got, you know, she's got abs. But I'm not going to go like, I'm not going to like highlight these and everything. I don't want her to be like super buff, you know? I think it can be very easy to overdo this. Like, we want to give the impression of abs here. Like, you know, she's got some stomach muscles. But I don't want her to be like, you know, a cartoon shredded. Like, don't paint black lines and stuff between the abs. Just looks kind of silly. This rib cage might catch like a nice deep shadow though. Like this, there's this little part right here where the rib cage meets the stomach. Like that we can push the shadow a little bit more. Yeah, don't do cell shaded abs, okay? Where did you go for your roommate's birthday dinner? I'm not telling you that. I'm not doxing myself to tell you where I go for birthday dinner. Hi, Inferno. Hello, welcome. Thanks for the tier 1. Appreciate it. Yeah, we went to Ratty Ralph's. What was the name of the not Chuck E. Cheese in It's Always Sunny? Yeah, I definitely didn't go to Dave and Buster's. Go to Dave and Buster's where you can play cell phone games on giant touchscreens. Can you guys hear that? Yeah. So, if the stream cuts out, you know what's going on. All right, so now we have to kind of like make a decision at this point, like what the main view is going to be. So I think here, I think we want it to be something like this. So she's turned a little more. You might think like, oh, here's good, right? But I think I want to be able to see the axe. So I'm thinking something like this is probably a nice main view. Alan for Tap. Hello, welcome. Thanks. So based off of this angle, which we're going to say is like the main view, right? We want to start placing in some highlights. Oh yeah, it's definitely storming. You've been thunderstruck. Bang, 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 thunderstruck. feel like my face lit up on that one. Yeah, we've got like flash flood warnings and stuff. Hey Eric, any plans for classes in the UK in the near future? Yes, there is plans in London the weekend after World Model Expo. So it should be like July, what is that, like the 12th or something, I think. Do I get flooded ever? Hold on. So yeah, like should be July 12th at Black Sun. They should post something at some point soon here. But yeah, just keep an eye out, because that is the plan. As soon as they go on sale, I will post something in... Hey, I'm talking here. I will post something in, like, the Discord, some kind of announcement, right? What was the other question? Do we get flooded ever? So my neighborhood has flooded before, and yes, where I live floods quite a bit, actually. We're pretty low. There's a lot of swamp around. My neighborhood, parts of my neighborhood will flood, but not typically like my house. We're like 10 feet higher than maybe not even 10 feet, but like 5 feet higher than some other parts of the neighborhood. So it does not. My backyard will flood. Parts of my backyard will flood though. But never like the house. Like there is like when we get like a hurricane or something, people in other parts of the neighborhood will like come park their cars like slightly higher up because areas of the neighborhood do flood, and there's some other parts of the city that flood like really bad. Like, you know, you're in a flood area in a swamp when you're driving down the road and there's one of those signs that has like the water level to be like maybe don't drive through here because the water is like 4 feet deep. Norfolk, Virginia flood really bad. Like they have like flood barriers and stuff that come up out of the ground, the levees or whatever. Yes, they are, Richard. They're really bad. This is why I've been ignoring them. They're particularly bad. But yeah, we get some typically, like, if we're gonna get really bad flooding, it's hurricane. Hurricane weather will definitely cause it to flood. We don't tend to get too bad of like winds and stuff from hurricanes though. Because North Carolina sort of acts as our shield most of the time, so we don't typically get really hit directly, like head on. Because it's the same thing, Gary, as being in a tornado state or something like that. It's just comes with the territory. So now you can kind of see where we're at with adding some highlights, right? I haven't quite pushed the highlights as far as I want to. You can see the shape, there's like clearly shape to the muscles and stuff without overdoing it, right? And we can always like blend and push it more. You know, as I begin to paint more layers, I work thinner. No, it's rain. That's not hail. Kind of died down already. I think this is going to be a quick one. I think I've only been through like 2 pretty bad hurricanes like in my life. Never anything like super bad. We've gotten some. I don't even think I've ever had like a broken window or anything like that. But definitely parts of like the Outer Banks and things have been hit really hard. What paint am I using? Vallejo and Chimera. Vallejo. Vallejo. We get tornado. We don't get tornadoes very often, but sometimes the hurricanes will have tornadoes also. I remember we had a hurricane coming one time, and we were driving across a bridge, and it was like on its way, and you could see like the tornadoes, like the water spouts, like the tornadoes formed from the hurricane, like picking up the water from the bridge. I mean, it was like, 80 miles out or something, but you could still see. Maybe it wasn't even that far out. It could have been like 20 miles or something, but yeah, you could see the hurricane off the coast, like shooting up water spouts. Nature's crazy, man. Michael Paints Minis. Hello. Thanks for the tier 1 in the 2 months. Appreciate it. Appreciate you. Yeah, because they've never had a blizzard or anything in Saskatchewan. Good evening. Was in Guam for an earthquake, minor one. What's interesting to be like, did everything just shake? We had one. This was years ago. We had one here. Like, we basically never get them. And apparently it happened, and I was on like the 4th floor of a building and was like, what? They're like, I did not feel it at all. I was like, oh, there was an earthquake? Okay. Yeah, here is just hurricanes. It's just part of life. You just, they happen. Just bring your patio furniture in and everything, and ride out the storm. Probably gonna lose power. Make sure you got some flashlights or whatever. Make sure you got some food and water. Nah, we don't get them that bad that you gotta like board up your windows or anything. But other parts do, yeah. I mean, if there's like a category 5 like heading straight at you, you should probably get out of there. But like, yeah, we've never had. I think the worst we ever had was a. I think it got downgraded to a category. It was a category 4 and then got downgraded. Is that Isabel? I think may have been. I've been to a category 3. Yeah. Cat 4 is when I might be like, okay, maybe it's time to roll out. Transform and roll out. Dr. Quentin, hello, welcome. Thanks for following. Cat 4's time to pack up, ban, and leave. Yeah. We definitely had like, yeah, Cat 4's hit North Carolina, and then we get the aftermath, so it's like just a ton of rain, but not really the winds. Tends to be the winds that's like really the super damaging part anyways. I mean, obviously a lot of water, not great, like flooding is bad, but like, you know, when winds are ripping off like the roofs of Walmarts, like that's when you're in trouble. I think it was in San Diego. I'm teaching a class with Lane, and there was an earthquake, and he was like, "Did you feel that?" And I was like, "No." Will of the Brush, thank you for the raid. Welcome in. Yeah, I'm the guy that's like, that's me. A buddy of mine, I wish I knew the video. I wish I remember the name of the Past Perpendicular is the name. How many views does this have on YouTube now? So he made like a video of like one of our newscasters, like our weatherman, was like out doing the thing for the hurricane, and he was like standing in the wind and like leaning, you know. And he's like, the wind is keeping me upright. I'm past perpendicular. And like he made a techno remix of it, and it went like viral. He was one of my coworkers. Hurricane Irene. That's what it was. Mr. Andy Fox, he's a local. He would do like the man in the field, you know, like that was his job as the newscaster, like the guy, the field reporter. And they sent him out to go to the hurricane, like to the beach at the hurricane. And he's like, the wind. No, I don't want to play it on here because I think Billy made all the music himself, but I don't want to like play it through the YouTube video. But yeah, he was one of my coworkers. They always had that guy doing crazy stuff on the news, though. He's like, they would send him out to like intersections where people were like notorious intersections where people were running stop signs and stuff, and he'd like chase down cars and be like, "Did you realize you ran that stop sign?" Like they always had him doing just the craziest crap. All right, Andy, it's another hurricane. Time to get your ass out there. Imagine that being your job for the news. It's just the guy they gotta go like send on all the worst assignments, like. I was a kid when Mount St. Helens erupted. Living near the Rockies, my young brain did not understand that all the mountains were not just time bombs. I was afraid to. Oh, God. Not all the mountains are volcanoes. What's the one we have in Mount Rainier? Is Mount Rainier a volcano? In Washington? When's the last time that erupted? Five to 600 years ago. Sounds like it's about time. I don't know what Baker and Hood are. Are those? I'm assuming those are also mountains in the Pacific Northwest. I don't think we. I don't. At least I don't personally know of any on the West Coast. Not like we have a mountain range. I mean, we have the Appalachians, but those are like crap. They're like 6 hours west of here. Maybe not quite that far. Five hours west. Yeah, they're not really hills, or they're not really mountains. Like they're not like super peaked. Some of them are kind of tall, but they're not huge. Dude, Mount Rainier is gigantic. It's like you can see it from Seattle, like, and it's like, oh, there's Mount Rainier. It's like Mount Fuji, you know. It's like huge, and like really stands out. Like some mountains, you're like, oh, that's a really tall mountain. Yeah, it's a 4 hour drive away, and it's like you can clearly see it from Seattle. I've seen some pretty big mountains in my days though. In my time though, I haven't seen Everest because I've never been to Asia, but I've been through the Swiss Alps and the Matterhorn, and some of those peaks are pretty dang big. I mean, you could see the Alps from like Lyon, and they're pretty clear. On a nice day, you can see the Alps. Hi, overrated. Thanks for the Prime. 14 months. Appreciate it. Yeah. But Everest is like part of like a big chain of mountains, right? How how obvious has anyone seen Everest? Let me ask that. Has anyone been or seen Mount Everest? The Himalayas, yeah. Like not like you don't have to have literally been like climbing it, but like just seen it in general. I'm curious, does it like stand apart? Because like the Alps, like if you don't know which one's which based on their like shape or whatever, you wouldn't know like the Matterhorn from some of the other peaks, right? It's it's not like Rainier that like stand or Fuji that like stand apart on its own. Yeah, okay. So I was curious. I was curious if Everest is like, you know, you wouldn't be able to just be like, yeah, that's Mount Everest right there. That's Mount Everest somewhere in there. Yeah, then there's also, what's the ones in Patagonia called? That people do like the ice climbing and stuff. Those are pretty big too. The ones that separate, is that the Andes that separate Chile from Argentina? Argentina. My geography, my mountain geography is or lack of is showing right now. Countries I've got, but names of mountain ranges I'm not so good with. I know the Pyrenees are what separate Spain from France, though, because I've been through them. There's one mountain peak right outside Barcelona. I can't remember what the name is. Maybe Dave or somebody remembers. That's like really sharp looking. It's pretty cool. It's like super obvious. No, Dave doesn't remember. All right. All my Spanish viewers are in bed. Heck yeah. What are we talking about? Should I give her a mountain backdrop? She needs some. Does she need a sweet mountain range backdrop? We're getting inspired right now. Slam Driver, hello, welcome. Nah, I don't think she's the volcano type. I don't think this is the right mood for a volcano. What is the name of that painting by Frank Frazetta? It's the one of the like red-haired Viking guy fighting the other two guys. I can't remember the name of the painting right now. There's that one, which is pretty cool, that has mountain ranges. I saw the one by Chris. It's really nice, actually. It's definitely my favorite backdrop he's done. And then there's the other Frazetta piece where it's like the guy being sledded by the bears. Maybe we'll take a little inspiration from one of those two. Silver Warrior is the name of the guy fighting the other two guys, or is that the one with the bear? The bear sled. The bears. The bears. Alright, I think our skin's like kind of coming together, right? It's getting a little soft. Face isn't perfect, but the sled is icebreaker? Snow giants. Yeah. Were you talking about Montserrat? It might be. I put commas in. What does Surat mean? Serrated? Something like that? Montserrat. Is that the one? I want to see it from a distance. All of these are like way too close up. These are also like on the this might be it though. I think this is it because it's like kind of mesa'd. It's like really like it looks like it just like drops off a cliff, you know. I think Montserrat is the one because yeah, it looks like really sharp, right? It's like it's cool looking, and yeah, it definitely sticks out of the landscape. Did I see it from this angle? Anyways. The Tooth Mountain. Anyways, cool looking mountain. Nearby, what's it called? we're posting pictures of mountains and, you know, we're getting inspired over here. We're just thinking about, like, what would be cool. Thinking about art, thinking about mountains. Thinking about what kind of fun we want to have with this lady. I mean, I knew I wanted to do like a kind of cold scene anyways, but I haven't painted a backdrop in a while. It could be fun to paint one on stream, huh? You guys want me to paint a backdrop on stream or no? You're just like, don't do that. It sounds lame. Please, Eric, don't paint a backdrop on stream. If I wanted to watch a 2D painter, I'd just go watch someone paint anime girls. Oh yeah, let's just co-stream a Bob Ross stream, and we'll just paint whatever Bob Ross is painting for her. Let's follow a Bob Ross tutorial on stream. Beep 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 beep. Yeah, you are done, Richard. Keep those up. Have to break out the old timeout. You know, it goes up each time. I've already showed how to do snow. I've already done it. We can do that. We can do a backdrop on stream. That's fine. Be my little ode to Ruben's version. Yeah, man, we're all good here. Rain's pretty much died down. I can still hear some thunder in the distance, but not much other than that. Little quick storm. All right, I need to work on the face more. I think it might be time to take another short break. Another quick break, but yeah, I mean, I think her like skin is feeling pretty good. I need to add a little more light to her stomach here, like some of her hips. don't want too much on her ribs because like it's not really facing the light, so you really wouldn't hit like big highlights there. Probably also need to adjust this slightly. I feel like the highlight should maybe be a little more over here. But maybe a little more highlight on her tricep. This, I feel like I may have got slightly off on my angle. Yeah, this is okay, but it could maybe be like just a little bit more to the right. Anyways, all right, I'll take a quick break. I'll be back in a minute. And then, yeah, maybe I'll work on the face a little. Hello, I'm back. Hi. You guys want to know a secret? You want to know a secret? You like secrets? So Joaquin and I are working on a new bust for a new workshop. Huh? Are you getting? He's sending me the 2 new ones, but that's not it. This is a custom figure. Nope, entirely new, entirely unique figure just for workshop. No, why would it be for game? You think Games Workshop would let me use? They won't even let you use custom figures in Golden Demon anymore. What? What's the class workshop about? Well, that's the thing. I'm not ready to talk about that yet. It's about painting mostly, though, yeah. I would say that's like the main focus. So she doesn't really have this muscle here sculpted. I think I can kind of accentuate the quads just a little bit. So we can kind of sculpt. You have a muscle right here that goes on the outside, and then another muscle that kind of comes here on the inside. So they're not really defined on the sculpture, but I think we can reinforce them a little bit with some highlights just to just to subtly kind of show those two muscle groups there. Ozzy, hello. In the Zyrac, I think I missed you. Hello. So this is a thing, you know, you can do. You can choose, like, on the stomach, I'm choosing to kind of tone down, like not overdo some of the musculature. And then here I want to maybe define some of the musculature that's not exactly sculpted. Because perhaps her thigh would be a little more muscular based on sort of the shape of her arm and shoulder. Her shoulder's like not super, like, yeah, she's got some muscularity to her shoulder, but it's not like you can't see the individual heads of the deltoids. We can enhance a little. Oh, anybody start listening to the Devils? It came out yesterday. It's pretty good. What is the Devils? The Devils is a book. Read or listen, you know. So, oh my God, my brain just stopped working. Please, someone tell me the author. I can't believe, like, it just slipped my mind. Joe Abercrombie. There we go. Joe Abercrombie, narrated by Stephen Pacey, author of The First Law. Hey, Eric, was thinking of buying a Big Shop miniature this week. Never built a resin model, though. Usually just do Warhammer. Are they hard to build clean? Well, I wouldn't say you're buying any Big Shop models this week unless you got somewhere else you can go to buy them. Maybe Spray Gun or Sabot. They have some? Okay. Sabot. Sabot. S-A-B-O-T. Mr. Yim Rice. Um, phew, are they hard to accept? Man, that depends so much. Like that really, it can change from one cast to another. Some companies casts go together super great. I've had good big child models. I've had not so good big child models. Um, I will say like Hera and if you want a guaranteed like one that's gonna go together pretty easy and not give you too much headache, I would recommend um, maybe like Black Crow or Hera for your first resin miniature. Like they always like just go together awesome. Yeah, certain companies like tend to, you know, they're a little easier than others. I also expect like I'm not gonna resin models made by small companies are like boutique, right? Like don't expect Games Workshop quality of them fitting together, right? It's just part of the deal when you work with resin is like you might have to heat something up with a hair dryer. You could have a slightly warped piece, right? It happens. But I wouldn't let that stop you from giving it a go because they're good fun. Love painting big figures. Always a pleasure. And I just get any regular super glue. Yep. Yeah, I can also recommend like this black super glue is quite nice. Maybe if anybody's tried this stuff before. It might be a little easier to see, right? Like an annoying little dust or something on there. I don't know what that was. Just like a little flake of something under the primer. No big deal. Just paint over it. Just scratch it off and paint over it. See like where it got messed up. Oops, sorry. They are from Amazon. They're just some cheap Chinese glasses that have 7,000 brands that slap their name on them. But they're lightweight and they're comfortable, so. Turns out not too much technology goes into making a pair of magnifying glasses. Just get a comfortable pair. All right. Yeah, there was the little like thing. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, real gently, now that this is dry, I'm just gonna slightly sand her chin. Try and get this junk off. There we go. I don't know what that was. That was like under there. Underwear? Some kind of junk. I don't know, Gary. Got me, man. Hi, Major Asnable. Hey, Major Asnable, have you been watching Gundam Jaquux? The G-Quux? It's pretty good. So yeah, if this happens and you guys probably can't even see this on camera. I can see it with the glasses. But there is like a tiny, man, you really can't see it on camera. I can see it. There was like a tiny spot on the chin that I was not happy with. So I just got rid of it. Just sand it down. Just give it a light, like scrape it off, cover it, give it a light sanding, and then go back over top of it. Light sanding will help like knock down any ridges or whatever that you get. But yeah, I don't want any flaky, annoying bits on my figure, especially on the face. Like, that's the thing people are going to be looking at. So if you got a annoying little chunk of something in the paint, like, get rid of that. And get rid of it early, because the more you build on top of it, the more it's going to show up. So just try and knock it down. Unless you want to work in a sterile, clean room like Mr. Moretto font. No dust. I'm teasing Albert a little bit. Who's gonna invent that, huh? Who's coming out with the anti-dust machine for miniature people, huh? Gotta get all my suck up all the resin dust and everything. Never deal with resin dust again. All right, so maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. You got, I don't know. I feel like I'm going crazy. I can see it. Do air purifiers remove? Will they? So anyways, just giving like a really light sanding there. Just to try and knock that ridge down a little. Bidum. So that's like that mark I just put there for like the nasal fold. I want it, but it's a little too much at the moment. So I kind of put it in, and then I'm just gonna like, come on, blend it in, right? Just soften it in. I want it there, but just barely, right? Something like that. Like now you can see it, but it's not like super obvious, right? And I'm doing all this, and I'm realizing I'm probably going to give her some sort of facial markings, right? Some sort of war paint thing, but whatever. What do you guys think so far? I think it'll help a lot if we like just put some kind of outlining on her eyes or whatever. Get some more detail on her face. One of the things, man, I really enjoy painting 75 millimeters. She might be slightly big for a 75. Let's find out, actually. I always compare it to Morlock from Chimera Models because for me he is the true 75 millimeter model. He is an actual 75 millimeter. So I think she's probably slightly large for 75. Like you can see her face is a little bigger and his head might be like a little small for 75. But you can see her face is like a little larger than his. Yeah, slightly big feet. So, but yeah, I really enjoy painting this scale because I feel like this is like at the scale where you can like really start to go kind of nuts with some of the level of detail. And but like it's not a bust, right? You still get to paint a full figure. But maybe that's just me. All right, Jonas. Anyways, this is, oh God. I will say that it's annoying to keep it on camera and in focus, though. So the model is like one to no. No. It's like, it is 75 millimeter, but it's just, look, I have a scale right here. Ready? Oh, hold on. Let's zoom out. There's the ruler. Line her up. She is just under, she's 73 millimeters tall. So. Nah, it's not little. 54 millimeter scale is little because 54 millimeter scale, unlike 35 millimeter scale, is also typically not heroic scale. So you're basically painting 35 millimeter faces on a 54 millimeter tall model. That scale is like, which is quite popular with historical painters. That stuff's tiny. too small. It's just not a popular scale. It's just you're probably not gonna see it just because like it's just not a popular scale amongst fantasy painters. You know, we sort of have fallen into either 75 or 35, right? One or the other. The Cult of Paint actually are 54, and God, the tiger thing. Oh man, was that thing tiny? Like it basically felt like painting like his head was painting a 35 millimeter head on a uh, very large tiger. I know Andy likes that scale, which is why he made them 54, but not for me, bud. Not my size. Just do like Andy did, Topulus, and just make your own range. You want more 54 millimeter figures? There you go. Just start your own miniatures line of 54 millimeter models. Easy enough, right? A lot of the early painter scale Kingdom Death models were 54 millimeter, and then now they're not. But at first, the painter scale were. Her chin is not quite round enough. Make miniature two question three profit. No, the profit step. If you're making your own miniatures, I don't think step 3 profit is ever in the business plan. I think it's just step 1, make miniatures, and then it kind of stops there. Good night, engine. I think that plan is always just kind of, I wanted to make my own miniatures, so I did it. Nobody got into this business to make a profit. Or at least not a big one. Dude, some of the new Kingdom Death minis are huge. Look at this thing, man. Hold on. Let me find it. So this is the Kingsman. He is one of the bosses. And he was quite large for the original line of figures. And he is, let's get him on screen, 45 millimeters tall or 50 millimeters tall with his little plume, right? But to the top of his head, he is 45 millimeters tall. This is the new guy. His name is Roaring Harmonica Kale. And he is a human and should be smaller than the boss monsters. And he is currently taller than the Kingsman. He is 50 millimeters tall, nearly to the top of his head, ignoring his hair. He is gigantic, and he now makes a boss. So this guy needs a new model because the regular humans make him look like small now. He's not even, like, looks like a joke compared to them. And then, oh, here we can compare him to a Space Marine. Yeah. So here's a Space Marine. Everybody likes to see Space Marines for scale. So here he is next to a Space Marine. The scale creep on some of the Kingdom Death models is getting a little crazy. I don't mind like the size of the lion. It's the human-sized ones, like the original Butcher. Yeah, the original Butcher, the Kingsman, the Hand. So the plan is to paint her blonde, but I want to just outline around the hair just to get a nice dark line there to kind of separate the hair from the skin. Because we're going to go for like a light blonde, but No, not doing her as a redhead. Everybody does barbarian girls as a redhead. They all look like what's her name from Brave, like buff girl from Brave. I'm actually just gonna like avoid really using any red or warm tones on this figure at all. Like you can see even her skin, I decided there's very little like warm red in her skin. If we compare it, what do I have nearby? Like, look at the difference in tone between these two, right? Like really warm, cool. Oh, the thumb is definitely strategically placed. Or like on him, right? He's very pinkish. So going specifically for a cold vibe. From the Max, I think she had blonde hair actually. But I would say 9 out of 10 barbarian girls have red hair. Probably because of Red Sonja, yeah. I mean, like, just like every barbarian guy is basically Conan. Every barbarian girl is basically Red Sonja. Get in there. If I touch the face a little bit, that's all right. I can clean it up, but so the idea here is, yeah, just to separate, kind of outline the face and give a nice clean separation. I'm seeing, and now that I've done this, I'm seeing some areas where I wasn't super clean getting the skin tone all the way right up to the hairline. Outlining matters, you guys. That's what's going to make things look really defined. So I would say it's actually fine to kind of like if you accidentally paint on top of things, that's okay, because you can always come back and clean it up. So you paint it, right? You get that lining there, and then you come back and you cut in, right? So you take the original color, or your base color, and you cut into the shape, and then you can get like a nice, sharp, thin black line. You can see, let's like super zoom in, right? Like, oops, like here got too thick. Well, I actually missed a little strand. Right, so if you mess it up, and it gets too thick here, now I come back with my color that's underneath. Can you see this? Can you see here where it's like too thick, right? This brown got on top. Okay. Just cut back in, and then I have a super sharp black lining, or dark lining in this case. It's just a nice dark brown. Okay. So she looks a bit like a mess right now, but you can see the skin and stuff is starting to come together. Right? Got it nice and smooth. We're gonna have to introduce like a secondary kind of light source over here, but if we're gonna go for like a snowy scene, that's really not too hard. So we'll have like a even more desaturated kind of grayish light from below on the shadow side, because the light would come in, bounce off the snow, create a pretty strong bounce light from the other side, right? So we will introduce that another time, but I didn't know. I mean, I knew I wanted to do like a cold scene, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to do like a snow scene when I first started it. But and then I need to do like line work and stuff on her. You know, whatever kind of war paint or whatever designs I want to do. So I need to think about those. And then I probably need to push some of the shadows a little bit more, so slightly further, and then, but I'll see once I start adding the bounce lights how I feel about that. If I need to push more. But probably the next thing to do, yeah, would be to like really get some of this stuff like outlined and start to sharpen things up, because the white is bothering me now. Before it was fine and I could paint the skin, but now all of this white is starting to annoy me. So, all right. If you enjoyed the video, if you've enjoying the video, like and subscribe.